All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Gulls Nest. Of course, you have always myself, Adi84 here, and my trusty sidekick and baseball man of knowledge, Adam the Mallett.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that nod.
So it's been a week since you guys watched because we had taken 2 weeks off prior to this. You're watching these episodes in delay. Of course, you probably already realized that at this point. So we were kind of holding off a little bit because we wanted to make sure we had some, material to speak of for the upcoming episodes, right? Since season starts in, roughly almost 2 months, a little less than 2 months. We wanted to make sure we have some content to talk about because since there's no baseball being played for the Gulls, it makes it very hard to figure out things to talk to. But lucky enough for us, the 2024 roster has been released. Now, it's on the Gulls website. You can go there by going to the Newport Gulls site and clicking on the dugout, and then the player roster is right there.
Yes.
And that's basically what we're going to use today. And over the course of the next few episodes, we're going to go over the players. We're going to see who's on the team. Now, there's a lot of players here. Whether or not all these end up there June 4th, who knows? Something could happen. Other players could be added. Other players could be subtracted. Things come up. You never know what's going to go on. But this is pretty much what roughly we have right now, what we're dealing with. If today was opening day, this is what the roster looks like. And just kind of going through it. And of course, we're going to go through more in depth. There's a varietal of I like to use the word varietal because I compare everything into wine terms. A varietal of players from all parts of the country for the most part. It's kind of very entertaining. I mean, this is So we're gonna get into it, but yeah, I do. It's gonna be fun. And
I kind of want to put a little spin on this here. So here's what I was thinking. I'm looking at this, and this might be a little controversial, but it's like we have nothing to go off of here, right? We have nothing. Right. We just have their college numbers and all this. So we're going to look at these guys. I kind of want to try to predict, like, okay, this guy's going to do good. Like just based off of absolute nothing, like how he just looks like a composed gentleman. His numbers here were really good, like everything. Kind of roll it together and be like, you know what? I have a good feeling about this one. I don't have a good feeling about this one, and most likely I'm going to be wrong in a lot of these cases. But I just think it'd be fun since we don't have anything to go off of yet to in this league anyway to really try to predict here.
Absolutely, we're pretty much going in blindly. We have zero other than baseball references, basic college statistics.
Yeah,
that's all we have. So we're basically going on. I mean, we and you are kind of like scouts, kind of like we're trying out there. We're trying to look at the players. We're gonna watch them play, and then we're gonna see how they do match their statistics to their abilities, and see if it's something we can get going. It's something that It's I always wanted to be that. You have a movie like that movie? What the hell was the name of that movie? The one with Clint Eastwood, where he was like the old man scout, and he got his daughter involved in it too.
I remember it. I forget the name.
It's like problem with the curve or something.
Trouble with the curve.
Trouble with the curve, right?
Yeah.
And he'd be in these little like rinky-dink towns in the middle of nowhere, watching like kids play like baseball, like high school kids and some junior colleges and stuff. And it's like that was the whole stick of the movie, which is pretty cool. I always felt like that would be really cool. It'd be lonely though, like sleeping in these like little small town motels and everything like that. You know what I mean? But like, as a young man before family,
as a young gentleman.
As a young gentleman, there's a lot of jobs that were done as a young gentleman, like a truck driver.
I mean, let's put it this way: we're too old for certain things, but we're not old.
Well, no, I'm too far myself past the point where I could leave the house for 4 or 5 days at a time. You know what I mean? Like,
there you are. Yeah. I'm not that old. I just don't have the lifestyle.
You could still do that if you want to jump in an 18-wheeler and drive to California on a weekly basis. You could. No one's telling you can't. I
know it might be a smart decision given my life and what it is. I'm not 20. When you're 20, we can talk about this till we're blue in the face. When we're 20, you can have more freedom in general. You can screw up. You can make errors and mistakes and still recover.
Right. Right.
But
if you go in a time machine, I would tell 2004, Adi, let it all hang out.
But here's the big question, though: would you then listen to you now? Would that you listen?
Would I listen to 2044, Adi? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, like
2044
well, you said, like, well, like if I went back in time,
right
I
now.
would
Would the
I
you
would
now
tell
listen to you in the past?
probably
Would the
not
you in
because
the
I wouldn't.
past listen to you? That's what I mean.
No, because I probably wouldn't listen to 2044 Adi,
Exactly.
who's
So
20 years in the future. So I guess it's redundant. I get every
it's
time.
going to be a vicious cycle, and then he's going to go back in time eventually and try to warn the younger version of you, and he's not going to listen. It's going to be this cycle, you know.
I would whisper into his ear, Netflix stock, and just
There
walk
you go.
away. I think
Apple.
that'd be enough. Apple, yeah.
Yeah.
The iPhone in 2004. The
iPhone.
iPhone. The iPhone. All
That's
right.
stupid. I don't know what that is. I don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah, But all right, so let's start with the pitching. So we're gonna do a few plays each week. We're gonna go down
Let's do this.
with what we can figure out and what we can analyze from them. Knowing the first
Mhm.
guy on the list, and none of them have assigned numbers yet, so they're all numbers zero at this
Yeah.
point. So I think that probably happens once they get the final roster all put together and people start picking the numbers. It probably goes by seniority too, I'd imagine. Um,
Yeah.
but the first guy on the list is a pitcher. He is throws righty, bats righty. His name's Josh. I want to say Bloom or Blum. What do you think?
We'll go Blum. There's no E in
think
it,
it's
so we'll
Blum.
say Blum. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Blum. Josh Blum. He's a senior from Southern California University. And he's from Belia, Texas. 6'2", 215 pounds. He's a lot of boy right there. That's a tall, I guess. It's a tall guy right
Right,
there.
right out of the gate, I like him. I like him.
Yeah.
One, he first of all, he looks. Well, I'm gonna go based off everything. He looks like a good guy. Like he just looks like a guy who likes to play the game. He looks
Yep.
like a guy. He's got some weight behind him, so like let's face it, a lot of these guys who have a thinner, much too thinner build, they have a tendency to break down. Or look at like Chris Sale. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like guys like that, they can still throw heat, but like they tend to break down more. He's got like the proportionate in his numbers right here, solid threes. 30 games out of the bullpen, third most, and he's still racking up an ERA. So I feel like he can bring it. I like this guy.
So there's a discrepancy here in Baseball Reference. Baseball Reference has him listed as 6'1", 195. So he may have bulked, but
maybe.
he is a senior. He could have bulked up for his last year
I'm on the
in
college
college.
website. Yeah. The college
Yes.
website lists all of his accomplishments.
Oh, so you're in it. So okay, so that's probably the most up to date. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes, the Baseball Reference probably hasn't updated last season yet. So all right, so he from Belia, Texas. He's from the Houston area.
Junior, right?
He is a senior.
Oh, a senior. This is junior. Okay, this hasn't been updated. But as a sophomore, I know he had seven outings of scoreless streak that lasted 11 innings, had 11 multi-strikeout games. So he can throw it.
So let's see. So I'm looking at his ERA right here. So in 2022, it would have been his I guess his sophomore year, perhaps 2024. No, that's currently going on right now. So maybe that's the stuff. So at age of 19, yeah, you're a sophomore. He had a 12 ERA, 11 games, 9.2 innings pitched. So it looks like they're probably just throwing him there maybe for junk innings. Maybe new kid wasn't really going on. You really couldn't get a grasp on what's going on. Now, if you go to his next year, which is the 2023 year, he's a year older. He has 3 wins, 3-0 on starts.
Oh, okay. I see his references here on Baseball.
But he's coming in as a relief, so I'm assuming that's like coming in a game that's tied and he gets the win for it, which is also really good. With an ERA of 3.34, and 32.1 innings pitched. So that was his. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, that's a lot of innings pitched there for relief and having an ERA at low threes. And the one thing we should note is I believe the 2024 season is still going on right now, if I'm not mistaken. Judging
Can you
by some of
still
these
see
numbers.
me? My screen just went completely
Yeah, no,
black.
I can see you. Yeah, I can see you very well. In fact,
My screen just went completely black. I can't see you.
crisper as the day is blue.
Ah,
That's how crisp I can see it right there. Yeah, so I think that correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. The 2024 season is still in the progress right now because I believe they have their World Series for College World Series coming up next month. So he's potentially still playing right now, and that kind of makes sense because when you look at the innings right here, he's 2-0 this year. His ERA is still about the same, 3.6, 15 games played, rather than the 30 games from the prior year. 17.1 innings pitches. So what I'm always concerned about is this guy let up a lot of home runs. He doesn't. So even in the year his ERA was 12, his home run, he only let up 3. 7-23 and only 4 so far this year. That's the
Well,
number I look at because I think the home run number is one of the most important numbers for relief pitching because that can make or break the game,
that's
especially when
true.
you because you know how it is. You're coming in, bases loaded. Usually you're coming in because there's trouble with the starter most of the time, right?
Yeah.
You have guys on base. You maybe have one out. You're in a situation where it's a very stressful situation, so you have to be able to navigate it through properly. And the number that I always look at when I see a relief pitcher is the home runs because that is a crucial. That's high. That's crucial. You can't
That's
have
a
that
very
happen,
good
right?
point. It's a very good point. Yeah.
Especially if the game's tight, right? Man, it's like a 1-run, 2-run games. You have a little bases loaded. That could be the whole change of momentum right there.
Yeah, it's true. It goes to show you probably doesn't rattle very easily, which is
Right,
great.
right.
Yeah.
And his whip is incredibly low too. It's dropped down significantly.
Yeah.
It's below 1 right now. It's 0.981, which is also another indication of him fine tuning his eye. Now his ERA is a little bit higher, but you don't know what the kind of situations you're in. He only let up 8 walks so far this year compared to the
Yeah.
12 the year before, which is
I mean,
pretty
he's in
good.
the threes. That's solid. And
It's
again, he,
solid.
he has pitched quite a few innings for, I mean, that's good.
This is the type of guy I wouldn't mind coming out in a sketchy situation. My starter's in a little bit of trouble. We have the lead maybe, or we're close to being, maybe down by a run or two. And we need to kind of maintain.
The facts that he has that many innings too when he's a relief pitcher goes to show they trust him. He's
Absolutely, that's
trusted.
another.
So
Yep. Batting. Let's see. Doesn't bat. I guess they don't bat in college, right? I guess they have the DH in college, right?
do they? Yeah, I honestly don't know.
I'm pretty sure they have the
Assuming they
DH.
do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the DH is everywhere these days, right?
Yeah. I feel like too, if you're from Texas, you're automatically, in my mind, you're already a good baseball player. I don't know what it is about Texas. I feel like,
So
like
I agree. So in my mind, the 4 states that produce the best baseball players, and this is just I don't know if it's any bias or anything, just by path, is Southern California. Actually, California in general, because I think they have a lot of mobility to play because of the seasons out there.
yeah.
California, Florida, Texas, and North Carolina. I think those 4 states produce the best baseball players in the country.
Hmm.
And it has to do with a lot. You can play baseball all year round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
no
That's
it's
true.
not like up in New England where you're really restricted, and the only way you're playing baseball 4 seasons up here is if you're in private leagues, you're doing indoor baseball leagues, you're doing, stuff like that nature. You're traveling around and stuff.
Yeah,
But
or Canadian. Are there good Canadian baseball players?
yeah, and I think they're the same situation. I want to. There are a few Canadian baseball players. Like was it Roy Halladay? Wasn't he Canadian? Or was it Matt
Oh yeah,
Holliday
he
was
was.
Canadian, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of them was right. One of
Yeah,
the
you're right.
Hollidays, and but I think a lot of that has to do with like I think if you're that good and you're a Canadian player, I think there's a lot of facilities up there that are indoors just because of the weather. I think they kind of adapt to it, and I still think that's an option. Whereas like if you're from Minnesota, it's going to be very tough for you to be a baseball player because I don't think they have probably ice skating rinks every mile, but they don't have
Hmm.
indoor facilities to play baseball. But I think that has a lot to do with it as well. But Texas guys, that's a it's already okay in my book. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But the USC Trojans, uh, Josh Blum, we're looking forward to see you play uh, this season. And like you said, you made a good point, Adam. Because of so many innings he has pitched, means they have some trust in him. So it would be interesting to see him come into situations, and even having like the amount of wins you have in the situation, like he's 2-0 this year, 3-0. That means he's coming into situations where he's protecting a solid game. That means the starter pitcher probably gave a nice good 5 or 6, and it's either
Hmm.
tied or and they're in a situation. I guess it would have to be tied, right, for him to get the win after So um, you know, before the 5th inning, he's all right. He's coming in. He's pitching the rest of the game. I say that's pretty good. So
Yeah.
let's see what else. The walks concern me a bit. Um, but for innings pitched, it seems fairly low. I mean, at 14 the first year, 12 last year, and 8 so far this year. So they're going down, which is good. So that means he's working the plate a little bit more, and he's getting players to or batters to kind of
Hmm.
you know dance around a little bit, not just sit there, maybe take a swing or two. So that's good. That's a good numbers.
That is.
So Josh, we're looking forward to seeing you. We're putting you on a pedestal right now, so
We
hopefully
are.
you don't disappoint. But
Yes.
all right, so let's move on to the next guy. Give me a second so I can pull up his information here.
Is it
Um,
Yeah, we always forget.
Kincaid Clark. Is that who
Yes.
we're looking at next? Let's
Yeah.
see.
So I was actually just perusing, and there's a website. I don't know what they use for this, but it's called perfectgame.org. And he came up as national ranking 500 overall and a state ranking of 16. I'm not sure what they use to conclude this, and I don't know. This is me just perusing the internet.
Yep.
But he seems to be very regarded. He seems to he can hit. He's a pitcher. He seems he can do quite a bit here. So
All right. So he's another one from my favorite states. Anything down south works for me. He's Kincaid Clark. He is from Brandon, Mississippi. He's currently going to Mississippi State University. Isn't it make you fun? Isn't it like you laugh when you look at these birth dates? 2004.
he looks angry. He looks like he's like one of those, like when he's good, he's angry. Like he's just one of those, like he looks like a competitive gentleman. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. He's got the
Yeah.
game face on him. You know,
He
he's
does game face in that photo.
wait, 5'11", throws right, bats right, 195 pounds, still a big boy. That means a lot of like you said, good point. When you look at these guys and they're like 6 feet, 6'2", 6'3", and they weigh less than me, I'm very concerned about that because historically, a longevity of a pitcher, unless you're like a odd example like Pedro Martinez, right?
Yeah, he was an exception.
Right, or Randy Johnson, right? These weren't big guys; these are lanky fellas. But I think if you're bulky, and I think you have a lot of power behind your throw, I think that will help save your arm in the long run because you're relying less on the elasticity of your arm to produce the velocity, and you're considering yourself using the body and your momentum to help push the ball in a particular manner.
Yeah.
I always think that is, if as a pitcher, that's something you really want. You want to put the bulk. You don't want to be fat. No one wants to be fat. You just want to be muscular. You just want to be big. You just want to be kind of like,
Yeah, have
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Like, someone who, if you were in a random bar fight against, you'd probably not want to take him on because you probably get thrown through the window.
Yeah.
But so he's a sophomore this year. Like we said, throws right, bats right. Born in 2004. Imagine that, huh?
Oh wow.
Imagine what were we doing?
Why would I say that?
That was in my second year of college at that point.
Jesus.
I was 20 years ago. I was almost able to consume an adult beverage.
Dude, anybody born after 9/11, I just kind of go, God.
It is kind of crazy now, right?
Yeah.
I see it more these days too when I'm like bartending. Because I brought up the wrong guy here. Let's see. Because like you start having an idea of these people, and you've seen these birth dates, and you're like, you scratch your head like that can't be right. All right, so I wonder if he is. So I brought up this. I'm not getting anything on.
He's got some big high school credentials. His batting average was never below 310, and his junior year, his ERA was $1.80, and he threw a perfect game. So.
All right, I see right here. Okay, so let's see. I'm on that same website you are, called perfectgame.org. Is that what you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, I'm on the college website right now, but yeah, I was looking at Perfect Game earlier.
I couldn't find anything on Baseball Reference. I did find I don't know if there's any relation, a Mike Kincaid. No, but his name's Kincaid Clark. All right, so it's a little bit different. Huh, let's see.
Yeah, I'm seeing quite a few numbers here. I'm on the college website. There's not much to go with here, unfortunately.
Right.
I don't know why.
Well, you got to figure too. He is also a sophomore too, so he doesn't really have a lot of.
That's true. Yeah, actually, I see an ERA of 36, which isn't very good. 2 appearances though, 1 inning pitched, 2 strikeouts. So I guess he hasn't had much time yet to really. Get it going, but he's got all the time in the world. He's young, he's vibrant. He's got some in high school.
But now I wonder if he goes. What if his nickname's KK? Because I'm brought up a website. Is that the one you're looking at? It says KK Clock.
He has a Twitter, KK Clark.
Okay, maybe that's what he goes for. Okay, yeah. So I'm at his college website right now.
Something that Sports Illustrated on too, I think.
Really? All right. So ERA 36. Now, what's this off of? 2 appearances. 1 inning pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned runs. So that was from this year?
I believe so, yeah.
That's interesting, huh? So that maybe he was 2024. So maybe he's injured or something. Maybe he is. I'm interested to find out more about him because
Yeah, he's a brother of somebody. I was reading here, Mississippi, and there's an article in SI.com college. The younger brother of current MSU outfielder Kalen Clark committed to MSU on Friday. So,
okay. All right. So his brother was the 20th round pick by the Mets in 2023.
All right.
He played high school at Brandon High School for Coach Daniel Best, played for the varsity all 4 years, and led the team to self-state title. That's pretty cool. He was all-state all-state selection in 2022.
There we go.
Let's see. While being selected to Mississippi-based baseball, the top, 12 top baseball recruits in the state. Okay, all right, so he's pretty promising. So coming out of high school, he was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Now, like we said, he's a sophomore, so
The young buck.
he is a young buck with a lot of time on his hands, you know.
Yeah.
So what I see in my perspective of this is basically this year collegiately will be somewhat of an extension to his craft, if you will.
Mm.
So, I mean, he obviously has some baseball in his family. He has baseball in his blood. You really can't get an assessment so far because you got to remember a sophomore in college. What's the odds of you playing every single day too, right? I mean, he's probably not up there every day. Those rosters go pretty damn deep in college ball because they get so many people on. So at the end of the day, we don't know much about Kincaid. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna put this on. We're gonna file this away as soon to know, I guess.
Promising,
right?
Promising prospects.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll put it that way. One to file in memory bank.
It seems like he has the story to get him to being a pretty entertaining guy to watch. But we just don't have any numbers on him, really.
Yeah.
And we're kind of just going on the seat of our pants here, making assessments based on, what kind of, from a baseball family it looks like. He played down south, which is always promising for players who, play ball.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we'll see.
We'll circle back.
We'll circle back to that one. I'm sure we'll make some crucial I'm trying to think of the word. Some critiques, that's what I'm looking for. Some critiques as the season goes on.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do one more for this episode, and it's another pitcher. We're gonna be plowing through these pitches probably for the next few weeks here. But do you have the same one I have? It's Madden Clement. Yes.
Yeah. I have his, I don't have much on him, but I have his like pitching repertoire and what it's so funny the amount of information you can find just on the internet with some of them and some not. Like I know his fastball tops out usually around 82, but again, I don't know at what age your velocity should be at a certain age. Like 82, let's say in the majors, it wouldn't be much of anything. You know what I mean? But obviously,
right.
Still has to grow that, and or maybe he's just a finesse pitcher. I don't know.
True.
But yeah, fastball, curveball, changeup.
No, first thing I thought of was Matt Clement, and I was wondering if there's any
I don't think so.
relation. I don't think so either. He's a pitcher. He's from Renfrew, lefty. Yeah, Renfrew, Pennsylvania. Throws left, bats left. 205 pounds. Another big guy. 6'2". Another tall guy. So that's what I'm looking for in my pitches. I'm looking for a +6. Over 200 pounds.
Lefty. They're like lefties are.
And a lefty's like, yes. Yeah. Lefties are like the golden goose right there. If you can get your kid to throw lefty, then you're good to go. So that's the key right there. So if you see a kid fooling around for baseball out there and he's young, just have him practice throwing left. Or have him practice throwing both. And you could be like that kid in the minors that was be able to throw and bat right both ways. So there you go.
That's true.
But let's see. So he's college right now. He's a sophomore at Virginia Tech. Let's see what else. And Baseball Reference does have some information on him from his 2000. So this year, basically. So this is his first year. I guess maybe he's actually playing enough time to get some statistics on him.
Yeah, he's only got like 9 innings pitched, I see.
Yeah, so he hasn't batted. Yeah. He's been just, let's see, does he have any errors or anything? Nope. So he has 1 win. He's 1-0. He's in the area of 9.64 though. 7 games. That's a little alarming for, and he's got how many innings pitched? 9 innings pitched. So
12 hits, 10 runs. So seems a little jittery, but again, he's there for a reason. He could easily turn this around. It's not like it's a giant sample size.
Right. Yeah, we're looking on basically 7 games right now. So sorry, Rob. Sorry. But the silver lining here is that I'm seeing though is he does have 9 strikeouts in 9 innings. So that's like 1 strikeout an inning. So his ability is there, Yep. He does have 9 walks though.
Yeah.
That could be a little concerning when your strikeouts are close to your walks.
Yeah.
And that could be probably the reason for the earned runs, I would imagine. He probably walks a few guys, probably working the plate, and then he lets up that, 1 pitch over the plate that kind of connects. And only 2 home runs left though. So that's promising right there. If we're going to look at the silver line right there, like you said, 2 home runs.
Yeah.
So he's not letting up the long ball, which is good. He's probably going to work a little bit on his control and his placement of the ball, I would imagine. I don't know anything about him. I've never seen him pitch before, but based on the statistics from the small ass sample size we have, I'm saying that that's probably what he has to work on a little bit. He's only a sophomore. He's got plenty of time to work on these issues. The collegiate league is the exact perfect time to do it. Extends your baseball season a little bit. It gives you a lot more playing time that you are going to get at your college. Because like I said, these college rosters, they're a lot heavier than most teams. I mean, they're carrying a lot of players just because they need to. You ever see a college football team? There's like 100 people on the sideline. It's like, and baseball does the same thing too, because you don't know what's going to happen. College kids are they're still children when you think about it, right? They could easily get hurt. Their bodies aren't completely formed yet at that point, I guess you could say, right? So anything could happen, right? I mean, kind of weird thinking about it that way, but like
the muscle tone is still working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for for males. I mean, they could just keep on bulking up like into the early 20s, the late 20s is their
You'll
their
peak
prime.
at 30, guys. You'll peak at 30.
Yeah, it's a little and these guys are probably watching this podcast saying, who the hell do these guys know? I mean, we hope we're any negative things, and we're not trying to be negative. We're just trying to kind of evaluate, judging by what we see statistic wise. But we're hoping that anything we say that's, I guess, in the negative side is incorrect, and then we're just looking at bad sample sizes right here, and what you actually produce is better. So at the end of the day, we're hoping that you have a very successful season when it comes to at least the summer, right, and the finishing of your college year. But that's what it's all about. You just keep getting at it, just getting better. So you see what your flaws are or what you're weaker at, and you just build on it and you continue with it. And it's life at the end of the day.
It's true.
If you want to sum it all up into a baseball analogy,
100%.
Baseball is life. Life is baseball, and you can only get out whatever you put in. And if you don't put anything in, you don't expect to get anything out.
Mm-hmm.
What's my words of wisdom of the day? Like that.
I like that. I'll roll with that. We can keep that.
Very spiritual. Yeah, my words of I know what it is. I think it's not the restrictionness of having the microphone in front of me.
Oh,
I think
it's the freedom.
I'm like moving around.
You're a new man.
I feel like a weatherman.
You're loosey-goosey behind.
Loosey-goosey over here.
I like it.
All right. Well, Madden Clement, we will see.
Yes.
This coming season, what you can do for the Gulls. So far, we have Texas, Mississippi, and Pennsylvania. But that's all we're going to talk about in this episode. Next episode, we're going to cover 3 more pitches from the list. 2 of them are local.
Yeah.
Grew up in the area. So it's going to be fun to talk about that. And that's actually going to be pretty cool. Playing a collegiate league in the state or in the region in which you are from. Grab a lot of people, a lot of family, a lot of friends can come down and see you. Whether that works for your benefit or more of a negative thing, it's different for all people, I guess. But we'll talk about 3 more pitches on the next episode. Adam, anything you want to add on to this one before?
Looking forward to it. Let's see what we got. I'm looking forward to figuring it out.
Sounds good. As always, I'm out 84. That's Adam Mallett, and we'll see you guys next week on the Gulls Desk. See you later. Bye.